भैया MG रोड चलोगे?
नहीं।
Try this. Unibank?
Welcome on board, madam. My name is Pandurang. Fasten your seatbelt. The travel time to MG Road is about 20 minutes.
इसका तो लेवल ही अलग है.
Sit back and enjoy your journey.
See, NID education is something that is absolutely out of the world. Having experienced it myself, it is something that has picked up somebody like I would call myself a villager because my worldview was so limited being in Kerala and in this small town where I am from. NID gives you exposure to multicultural, social, socio-economic factors. It exposes you to so many cultures through the cinema that you see. From you see every day there's a French film, German film, or every day you're exposed to. I mean, a film. It's not an entertainment medium, but a film is like a book that comes and shares a story along with. Culture, and you understand the socio-economic condition of the country during that time. You get so much of exposure watching films. So that and the kind of seniors and juniors and the people that you interact with. Eventually, when you come out, I don't know whether it's a bubble, but you have so much confidence. You feel that. You have access to everything. You can go up to anybody and start making a conversation. That is the kind of confidence that place gave you. And we have met with so many stalwarts of speakers from so many realms of areas at NID, where we used to have these forums called Chingari. Chingari is like a spark. And we used to have these forums where people like Sainath and Anand Patwardhan and people, they will come and talk to us, and they will all be like fueled with inspiration and activism that we have to do something. And so it's multifaceted influence in that area. What you learn is one thing, but what you develop as an individual, it makes you very strong in terms of your ideas. Maybe, like I said, it could be a bubble for all you know, but that is something that you are charged with when you leave that place. So there is no sense of intimidation or anything when you go out and meet with anybody. Oh, this is Mr. Bachchan. So how do I talk to him? How do I deal with him? I mean, you talk to him like normal, and you talk to him like Mr. Bachchan. So you are taught like a decorum like that. So because we at NID, our teachers were so respected and so experienced, but we were taught to call them by their first name. We were not allowed to call them by sir or adding a you have to call him, like, for example, our executive director passed away a few days ago, like a month ago, Vikas Sathulekar. He was like a stalwart in design, but he would tell us very clearly that you cannot call me Professor Sathulekar or Mr. Sathulekar. You have to call me Vikas. And that's how we used to call. It gives a lot of different sense, because here we have grown up like not even saying one thing to our elders, that, because that will be disrespect. If you say or ask a question to your elder here in Kerala, it will be like in disrespect. From there, like, questioning is okay, is a situation that that was acceptable in that place. So you were not afraid of questioning, and you could question anywhere. So that all these things put together make you give you a lot of confidence. I don't know about other institutes, but 5 years, 5.5 years in one institute, being with that, you become a different person completely. So I don't know if it is the same now. I don't know, but it used to be like that.
I think you must be carrying some of your old team members to Ixoris.
Yeah, all the old people were there. I mean, in fact, the change from famous House of Anime to Studio Ixoris was overnight. It was just the same people sitting in another location. That's it.
Okay. Interesting. And if you have to talk about your values of Ixoris, a couple of things that you can share.
See, like one of the things that I try to keep as a value within the company is, one is not fall in love with one's first idea. It's something that we always feel that your first idea may not be the best, and you cannot get married to that, and you can't keep pushing your first idea again and again because it's come to you. Something that we try and see, and with everybody being trained as a capable visualizer, designer sort of a person in our team, for every film we make multiple storyboards. Everybody comes up with their own interpretation of storyboard. This gives us, for a normal film, if a person makes one storyboard, we are actually seeing 5 storyboards. And we are choosing from there what we should be doing. That itself is a great, 2 brains working on a film's flow. And, we are finally taking into consideration what's the best thing from both. What are the common elements? What are the stronger elements? So, and it goes on for every process. A character is put out to people, everybody exposed to design a character. It's not just one person. So this gives a very interesting evolution to a film. I'm talking purely about the work technique side of our way of working. So this is the way we address it is very democratic as much as possible. Even if I am the director, I'm not a dictator. I'm more like a collaborator who would be seeking collaboration from everyone. Like, if I'm working with a music director, I'm not saying that music, this is the reference music, I want a reference music like this. I would have a reference music. I would say that this is a reference for feel, not for the theme, not for the melody, not for the instrumentation, not for anything, not for even the tempo. The tempo you can consider because I have used that tempo to edit my film. But overall, if you can come up with a feel that's even better than this, I'm open to it. And similarly, for a character, I would, when you are talking about character design options from everybody, and so that it's if one can bring out the best, that is the real job of a director. I feel if I can bring the best out of each and every team member, and if everybody can contribute, that's my real wish, without being pressurized, but by motivation, self-motivation. If they can bring the best on the table, that's when a product becomes successful. If everybody feels it's a job that I have to do and I don't really like this job, then it will show like that also. So how I can keep that space alive for people to do free will work which, according to them, is the best thing that they can bring on the table. And if I can extract even more from them by inspiring them, motivating them, that is really my job. And if everybody gives their best, the product cannot be bad, because it's not one person's effort. I may be guiding people that this is the way I want things. I may be telling people maybe not that at times when they are not in the right track. But I there is a once a project is on, the team takes a different sort of life. It has a different sort of dynamics. Then the director actually becomes a follower than a leader. You are drawn by the sheer energy of the team that is leading you. You cannot reclaim and say that, yeah, this is something that I am leading, because at some point you are following, you are being led by the sheer energy of the team dynamics that is coming out with such fabulous stuff. You are only kind of bordering it. You are just kind of, just guiding. That's the way I work. So people always wonder, even in the set, I'm not the shouting types, unless, of course, a situation calls for it. I'm pretty patient. I don't lose my temper too much. Because I feel there is nothing that pressure can bring. A person cannot perform. If you say that you are doing really screw all performance, can you do it better now? If they look at my eyes and if they see it like that, that's the end of them. They will not be able to perform anymore. So how do you? If that is going, if somebody is repeatedly giving bad performance, I just move away. Actually, people get intimidated also. So then you try and, in a team, you kind of work like that. It's how much you go forth and interact, how much you detach and stay away. It's a fine balance that you keep between them. People have egos in teams. If you are working with so many people's egos, it's very fragile. It is. These are the things that I learned maximum. And in our workspace in Ixoris, we try and not hurt people ever in that sense. But I've seen time and again, when people grow, learn, they have certain amount of arrogance. I always have seen it in my own team members that, they have come like novices. They have been dependent on me to start learning stuff, take their baby steps. I have guided them, given them facilities. But once they learn and once there is a certain amount of arrogance that people grow up to. And something that I find I have not yet gathered that sort of called arrogance. I wonder what makes people arrogant is something that I always question. And this is something that we have time and again seen amongst people. There are a lot of people who are doing pretty well in the animation world, who have worked with us in their very, very beginning days. I feel good that, they're doing well. But I have also seen a lot of them having that sort of arrogance about the way they go about it. I think that's not really required. That's something that I always try and avoid in our space also. That, you shouldn't be arrogant about your knowledge or your skill or your experience. You should, I think, more you learn, more you should be giving. And that's the kind of principle we try and keep it in our place. Sometimes I think so much about, when we go for film festivals, we have screening sessions in our studio about the films that inspired me. Many people might not be interested also in watching, but I still feel I should share what I feel is really nice. If I'm inspired by something, we have our own WhatsApp groups. I like something, I share it with them. It's a very, the quest is for a team to be flat structured. we at some point we have become a pyramid structure where I am the top guy, and we have more people following that pyramid structure. But the attempt is always to make it. I mean, everybody should become a pillar, and the structure should be flat. And that's where I feel you can really construct, taller buildings. If your foundation is strong with pillars, that's something that we always stress upon. But it's a constant struggle in the team. In the times when people have a lot of priorities, whether you start something like that, suddenly you may lose a few people, and it's an industry like that, right? I mean, so in last 20 years, I would have fired. I mean, there must have been at least 1,000 people who have come and gone. So you have seen so many varieties of people also. So at Ixorus, our ethos are driven by design and empathy. Empathy is something that I feel we all need to have for each other. And that is something that I expect of people. I feel people should be empathetic to each other. Like if I have a task in hand, they should feel it's my job, but there should be also an empathy towards the teammates, the work culture, the product that we need to. That is extremely essential. It is not a spelled out philosophy slash vision, but it's something that I am trying to imbibe into the team by way of my dealings with them. So this is the way we run our place, and that people find it very different when they work in our place.
It sounds like I'm reading Simon Sinek, and I've tried implementing something of this work and miserably failed.
These are things that are not. It's like for example, Tokri, Fisherwoman, and Tuk all these as creative team building exercises. To be really honest, these were not made as projects of my individual passion, and these were also equally team building, as well as very consciously trying to bring about a change in the way Indian animation looked, not just for outsiders but also for India. They also need to know that India is capable of such things. So it was also a capability showcasing plus a team building. Like I felt team will stay stronger. They will grow stronger if they work on creative endeavors like this.